Huh? That didn't turn out too bad. I'm also kind of giving you a little sneak peek of what it's like a little further along, but now you can see what the clouds look like hanging up. Hey everybody, Resident Loser Jeremy here. Yeah, I'm wearing the same clothes again. I don't want to do a whole lot of laundry, so I just continue to wear the same clothes while I'm getting disgusting and dirty. In this video, we're going to build some clouds. I'm going to put everything together at this point in anticipation for hanging them in the next couple of days. Really, this process is pretty easy. I just have to put everything together, kind of fit it together. I'm going to wait to cut the 2x4s that are going to be the perimeter until I know exactly how long each one of these are going to be. I'm not going to batch cut these. I'm going to cut them one by one. But the rest of the stuff could easily be made in a batch, and you can do it all pretty quickly and very inexpensively, even with lumber prices the way it is now. And these are going to be clouds that are going to hang from the ceiling, and they're also going to incorporate the lighting for the studio. I am going to be hanging 3 of these to start with, but I have enough material to make 2 more that are going to go into what was the old live room in the other side to eventually replace those lights, but not right off the bat. So I'm just going to let the camera roll. What once was on the walls is now going to be the frames for the clouds that are going on the ceiling. What I was going to do real quick, I'm putting the fabric on what will be the clouds, and a lot of people ask questions about how to do this. If I can do this, literally anybody can do this. Just get a good stapler, some good staples, and whatever fabric happens to be on sale at the store. So I've already built the frames out of the wood wall behind the light wall that you've seen in the studio tours or any of my videos. So I've got everything laid out. I've already pre-measured to the size of the sound insulation that I have. I'm using rock wool that I get from Lowe's, but whatever you can get from Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever's close to you. A lot of the people not in the United States will be using mineral wool, rock wool. It's a much more rigid insulation that may be cheaper for you to get. Just check it out. In my case, I have roughly a 16-inch opening by 4 feet. So I'm just gonna drape this fabric over. Doing it like this, the frame doesn't even have to look that pretty. So I like to generally lay it out where it's going to be. Grab your stapler and then just staple a few on the opposite side of the roll. Now we're going to go to the other side, pull it tight and cut it. And because of the clouds that I'm making, I know this is going to be framed out with 2x4, so I'm not worried so much about making the edges look pretty. And I will just put one on the opposite side of the side I've already done. From here, you're literally just pulling it tight, putting staples in. Benefit to using the actual rigid insulation, you don't have to build a frame like this. Now we're on the final side, pulling it tight. This is where having a flexible fabric really helps. If you want that pretty corner, just gonna pull it over to one side. This is where I'm not very good. Mine's gonna get framed out with 2x4, so I'm not so much worried about all this extra stuff, but that's it. It's So the only thing left to do now is put a couple of these together, put the light panels in, and then we're gonna hang them up on the wall.
Now that we have the boxes and the lights mounted, now it's time to wire it. Choosing to go with 14 gauge wire, just to make things a little bit easier, and such a small load on it that it's perfectly safe and fine.
Which one do you want to start with?
Right here.
Here?
Got a stripping. One thing we like about these lights is that it has a built-in connector, pin if you will, where you just basically just stick the wires right into the actual connector. There we go. Yep. Saves a lot of time with not using wire nuts and better chance of success when you go to put everything together. Green to green, white to white, and black to black.
No, you just put black and white.
I sure did, didn't I? I just tested to make sure you were paying attention. Can't believe I did that. All right, so don't do that. Make sure you go black to black and white to white.
Did it come out?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with me. Here we have the battle of the strippers, and not the good kind, the wire stripping kind. I like the old-fashioned mechanical type. He goes for the more highfalutin technical.
You were the one that told me to get these.
That aside.
So the whole point of these clouds is to minimize reflections coming off the ceiling, which is perfectly parallel with the floor. If you're gonna have something on your ceiling, why not also make them lights? Was kind of my thinking.
There you go.
It helps to have someone you know who's good at electrical.
You know anybody, Jeremy?
That's what I'm saying. That's what you are.
Poor attempted humor, and sadly I'm here all day. It's a good point. You strip too much wire, well, make sure you cover it.
Follow these instructions at your own risk, not electrician advice.
Frankly, if you're uncomfortable with electrical, don't do electrical. You should always be comfortable in what you're doing. I've done this for a long time.
Cool thing about these boxes too, we got them at Lowe's. I'm sure they're everywhere though. Whatever store, Home Depot. They have switchable color temperature on them. So for a video nerd like me, and if you don't have to worry about getting the right bulbs, you just switch the color temperature right at the box on all of them. So if for some reason you wanted to have 3,000 degrees on one and 6,000 on the other, you could. And there's 5 selectable patterns on these, which is awesome.
Highest setting, you could actually do surgery in your studio. Again, not recommended, but it can happen. Because every new light you buy is like this.
Okay.
Come in here so you can see it. And I was just testing these together.
Hey, that.
Wow.
Dang.
Jesus.
Will it work? didn't turn out too bad. I'm also kind of giving you a little sneak peek of what it's like a little further along, but now you can see what the clouds look like hanging up. And as you can see, there's 3 of them. There's also string lights. I have these hooked up to some Lutron remotes, so let me show you. I saw Snazzy Lab's videos on how he made his whole home smart with different smart switches and incorporating Lutron cassette stuff. And watch, I can switch scenes with this. Now the lights in the back are dimming. Obviously the one on me is not. Now I have like this whole dimmed light situation over the entire studio. Now I can turn my scene back to all on. Watch as those lights come back on. So cool. I have it set to chill, and then all the way on. So cool. It also does that with the lights in my control room as well. Chill. Look at that control room get dark. All on. I love it. Controlling the lighting from my phone is so cool. So guys, if you're gonna have sound treatment in places and you already have relatively a small space, and I am increasing the size of my light room. It's substantially larger than what it was before, but still, as far as rooms go, this is not a huge room. So if you're incorporating stuff that's already on your ceiling, already in your walls, and you're building it yourself, it's a really good place to incorporate lights. I'll try to put everything that I used for these clouds in the description below so you can find that stuff, but this is not a hard project. If you have even a relative knowledge of woodworking, or you know someone who does, you're essentially just building boxes. If there ever was a good project to kind of try your hand at and see if you're good at this type of thing, this is a good one because it's hard to screw up, and even if you do screw up, you can fix it very easily. You're just making boxes. Maybe you don't start with these ones that hang on the ceiling where you have to worry about kind of like structural rigidity and getting your measurements a little more accurate. Start with the ones that just hang on the wall. And essentially it's the same part. If you take one of the beginning parts of the video where I frame out what will then be the clouds, if you stop short and just use those single frames, load those up with Ruxol and hang them on the wall, you're building bass traps, essentially. This is something you can cater to your own space, frame it out with different types of wood, frame it out with different kind of fabrics. I'm trying to track down something that can print on fabric so I can kind of incorporate artwork into my bass traps, and I'm still kind of at a loss of where to find that, but I know it has to exist somewhere. I really hope I can find that, because that'll kind of be a cool way to kind of personalize the space for me and incorporate some different images that I really want to come to work and see every day. So anyway guys, this is a fun project that can really impact the space in a big way, both visually in a very kind of obvious and striking way like this, and just from an audio perspective where you're controlling the reflections coming from your floor to your ceiling. Clouds are a really good way to kind of tune rooms that are shaped weird or shaped very, very small. You can just kill that reflection from the ceiling and do whatever you want to do with reverbs or adding your own faux space. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Hit the like button if you did like it. If you didn't like it, send it to an enemy because they're probably going to hate it too. Consider hitting the subscribe button because it helps the channel in more ways than you can imagine. I hope you guys are excited to see how this is turning out. I can't wait to make more videos for you. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy. I'll see you in the next one.